Alright, welcome back to Perry County Whitetails. Today I'm doing a break-in review of my Nicks Builder Pro work boots on the HNW last. I've been wearing these boots for 6 weeks now, and I have a little over 250 hours of actual work time in them. So here's my first review of these boots, and this is a review of the break-in procedure on these boots. Now they recommend that you 200 hours is the recommended length for a break-in on these boots. I wrote some of the stuff down so I wouldn't forget about it, but as we look at these boots, here's just a couple of things that I wrote down about them. First of all, that is on this tongue. Now you'll notice that this tongue is a different leather than the leather of the boot itself. It is a little bit lighter, I do believe. It's not quite as heavy as the leather. And I folded it like this the very first time I put them on. I folded my tongue straight down the center just like that and laced them up and wore them. And after wearing them one day, the tongue was trained in that manner. I never had to, I mean, it automatically went to that fold every time I put the boots on, so that was nice. In times past with my Red Wing boots, I always had trouble getting the tongue to lay down the same way every time, and that caused some discomfort in this part of your foot and ankle. So that was nice. I really like that about them. Secondly, these laces, which are rawhide leather laces, I never had a pair before that ever really held. They would always come loose throughout the day, so I was kind of skeptical of them to start with. I thought, you know, these things are, you know, I'll probably be ditching these within the first week, but I was surprised. These laces in 6 weeks have come untied twice. Once when I was crawling around on my hands and knees in brush looking for a deer that I had shot, and one other time I don't think I had them quite tight that morning when I laced them up. When I went to take them off, I never noticed it during the day, but when I went to take them off that night, it had slipped off this top speed hook some point, maybe right at the end of the day, because usually I'll notice pretty directly if I have a problem, you know, with my boot loosening up or something. So I was pleasantly surprised with these laces. When you tie them, cinch them down, they stay right where you tie them. So that was nice. I really like that about them. The leather, it is the rough out. I have always bought smooth out work boots. This is the first pair of the rough out that I've had. Kind of mixed. I kind of like it in a way. They don't ever look like they're, you know, completely filthy because they're rough out, I guess, maybe. But they get like the separation of fibers that comes out that almost looks like, I don't know, little hairs. I'm not a big fan of that, but we'll see how they wear. If the durability is the same as this, I might get it in the future, but as far as the way they look, I like the smooth out look better, but we'll see how they wear. You know, I work in oil, heating oil and diesel fuel all day, so whenever you get a spot on this rough out, it soaks in, I think, and stays a little better. One of these boots, yeah, that one right there, you see, I got a spot of diesel on that on Friday, and it's pretty black, pretty dark. So that's one thing about them that I'm not sold on yet. Let's put it that way. This is the first time I ever ran the Kilties, and haven't really had a problem with them. They do tend, probably kind of like your tongue, you got to place them where you want them the first time. I noticed these are tending to slip this direction. You can see they're right there up next to that. So look at my list here. Weight. Now these boots are a good bit heavier than the Red Wings that I had been running. I did notice that on this particular boot, I'm dragging this heel, both of them actually. I don't know if you can see that. It's already starting to wear down that side of the heel. And we'll see what durability is. But I don't remember that happening with my other boots. And I'm thinking that maybe it has something to do with how heavy the boots are. Maybe unconsciously I'm dragging my heel a little bit because I'm not used to picking up that much weight. Could be, might not be. The next thing on these soles is this stitching. It was double stitched the whole way around here, and every one of those stitches practically has been worn off. Maybe one or two down here that's still. So I'm not real sure if they still hold once they wear off like that, or if they don't. I'm not real sure on that. I'm not sure if that's just an aesthetic thing, like people like the look of that, or if that actually adds to the durability of the boot. I'm not sure. I mean, it's 6 weeks in and it's pretty much gone. So, and of course you still got all those screws in there. So, I mean, the sole's not coming apart. I don't have any fear of that. I'm just not sure how much that stitching really does to hold the boot together. Anyway, that's that on that. On this boot here, my left boot, and I want to talk about the footbed a little bit, which has been, I haven't had a problem with it. However, you're probably not going to be able to see that. I'll put up a little bit of footage. There's two spots down in there. I can't get it positioned right. There you can see it. You see that dimple sticking up? There's that one, and there's another one a little bit further up, about right here, that look like two nails sticking up in the center of one in my heel and one in my arch. I'm not sure if maybe they just weren't peened over properly when they were built, or what. I may have to stick a punch down in there and try to hammer that down a little bit to get that nail down. It's not causing any discomfort to my foot yet, but as the footbed molds and sinks in there, it's probably going to. I haven't noticed anything yet, but it probably will at some point. Okay, we went over that. Water resistance. These don't claim to be water resistant at all. I've gotten them wet. I've worked several rainy days with them on, and they have gotten wet, completely wet, but my foot has not gotten wet yet. The real test of that's going to be whenever we get our first snow, because when you deliver heating oil for a living, you're in and out of the truck all day long. You're walking through snow, getting back into a warm truck, and you got snow that collects on your boots because you're taking a warm boot to the cold snow and back and forth, that kind of a thing. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, they're probably going to get wet. I mean, they are going to get wet then. We'll see how they do. I've always had Gore-Tex in my Red Wings, and that seemed to work pretty good, but these have no water resistance that I know of. So we'll see. Time will tell on that one. But as far as working in the rain, so far I haven't had any problem with wet feet. So I mentioned I had 6 weeks approximately, and 2 weekends I've worn them for hunting and for a vehicle project where I was replacing an alternator. So they have approximately 250 hours of wear time on them. Week number 1 I had no pain, which I was shocked. I thought, man, these things are going to be miserable. They were very stiff, but I did not have any foot pain at all. I did notice in the mornings, and still somewhat when I first put them on, until they get warmed up to the temperature of, you know, my body temperature of my feet, where they get some heat in the leather, they are still pretty stiff. Weeks 2 and 3, the pinky on my right foot was going numb every day. Every day the pinky toe on my right foot would go numb. Now my right foot is wider than my left foot, but it's shorter, so that could have something to do with it. It was just my right foot being just a little bit wider than my left. Didn't have any pain whatsoever in my left foot. Week 4 and 5, I noticed in this area right here, top of my arch up to here, I was getting, not so much, it didn't really hurt during the day, but when I took my boots off at night, I have a big wide, about the width of the lacing, a big red mark the whole way from here to here. So that lasted about 2 weeks, until, I don't know if it just got used to it or what that was. But I noticed that in weeks 4 and 5. This past week, the 6th week, I've had 0 problems. I would say these are pretty well broken in down here, around the footbed and the sides of my foot. Pretty well broken in. I still think this part here is not quite broken in yet. I was walking on some uneven terrain on Saturday while I was hunting up on the mountain, and it was really, this I could tell is still not quite broken in yet. As far as things that I did not or do not like about them, number one is those nails sticking up. They don't cause pain yet. Maybe they never will, but I'm thinking as time goes by they will. So I don't know if that's just a quality control issue, where when they were looking at them after they had after final assembly, if they just didn't catch it or what, but those 2 nails sticking up. The sole stitching, I mean, maybe it is holding in there. I don't know what it actually does, but in my mind it really adds, I mean, not much to the boot as far as durability. I don't know if maybe it's just a thing where people like the look of it or what, but you know, it doesn't seem to, in my mind, to add anything to durability. And then the heel wear, 6 weeks old, and you're already starting to see where that heel is starting to get knocked off a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Time will tell on that. So that's my 6-week break-in review of the Nicks Builder Pros on the HNW last. I wear a size 11 double F. And overall, I'm pretty happy with them. You know, the break-in procedure process was not as painful as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it just turned out to be, you know, they are a tougher boot, but they were not unbearable for me. So I was really quite pleased with that. Probably going to wait, let's see, this is 6 weeks. Probably at 3 months, I'll do another little update on how these boots are doing. We do have these entered in the stitchdown patina Thunderdome. So I've already submitted those pictures for the month of November. I'll put up a couple of those on the screen here at the end, so you can see the progress that I'm making there on the stitchdown patina Thunderdome. So I'm kind of curious as time goes on how this rough out's gonna do. You know, never had it before. Like I said, it's got all those little, you know, those little fibers. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's about the only thing I'm not really a fan of on the rough out. But all right, that's it. We'll catch you next time. you.